Hi, I'm Jeremy Morady, and I'm out here at Colt Creek State Park with Shannon Carnevale from UF IFAS Extension, Polk County. And we're out here to talk about kayaking tips. And through today's video, we're going to go over loading and unloading procedures for your kayaks, the different types of racks that are out there that you can use for different types of vehicles. Behind us we have two, both one on an SUV, another with using a truck, and just kind of going over some of the tips to help folks out in loading and unloading these things, because they can be a little unwieldy at sometimes with as big as they can get.
Yes, they can.
Here behind us we have your pickup truck with your kayak in the bed of it. Can you talk a little bit about how this works with this type of setup and the kayak that you have?
Sure. So with a pickup truck, you want to make sure that you're not using a kayak that's really super long. This really only works if the kayak is proportional to the size of truck you're using. So some of your long distance kayaks, your 22-foot kayaks, aren't going to work in the back of a pickup truck. But a small sit-on-top kayak like the one I've got here, which is about 9 feet, is just fine.
Now in your pickup, you have it strapped down. You have a number of things that you've taken precautions on for safety, so it doesn't go flying out the back and hit other drivers and have all that kind of fun. Can you talk a little bit about how you get that set up?
Sure. So what we've got going on back here is we've got a couple of ratchet straps to make sure that the boat does not shift side to side when you're trying to drive. And I've also got a rope going through the kayak down to the hitch to make sure that the kayak doesn't bump up when you go over a bump in the road. Mm-hmm. This is also critically important because the way most pickup trucks are situated is if you go over a bump too quickly, the tailgate can actually come right off the truck. So you want to make sure that your kayak is tied down tightly enough so that the tailgate does not have that opportunity. But at the same time, you don't want to bend or distort your kayak. So just take bumps slowly and make sure you've got at least 3 points of contact.
All right, behind me is another type of setup that I have on my SUV. SUVs are popular, and also folks that don't have SUVs have cars, and they also need to know how to get things mounted on there, which you can do quite easily. You want to talk a little bit about that?
So whether you have a car or SUV, you can easily transport your kayak or canoe using foam racks as well. If you have rails on your car, there are some very specific mounting systems that you can use, and they tend to be specific to the type of rails you have on your car. So if you have those, just check with your local sporting goods store, and they can help you get set up for that. If you're using the foam mounts, basically what you want to do is you just put them on the car in such a way that you're not going to collapse in the roof. Typically it's over the strongest point near the doors and the windows. Mm-hmm. And then you want to make sure you have a strap over that, right over that foam rack. And that's what's going to give it that compression to really keep it in place. Additionally, you'll want to have those straps going through a handle, or if you have a sit-on-top kayak, you can put it through the hole in the kayak. Some kind of fail-safe so that if a strap were to fail and the boat came loose from your vehicle, it doesn't go flying off your car. It at least drags behind your car and keeps other motorists safe.
Well, and there's also different kinds of straps out there that come with these kits. For me, the most effective that I found are the ratchet straps.
Yes, I would agree. The ratchet straps are very user-friendly. They're very easy to use. When you're putting them on your car, though, you will want to make sure, if you're going to be driving at high speed, to twist the ratchet strap at least once. That'll keep it from whistling while you're driving, yep, which isn't necessarily required for safety or strength, but it will drive you insane.
Yes, it will. Been there, done that one before.
Yes.
And so, talk a little bit about, can you do these on the foam racks for any size of kayak?
You can, yeah. You have a lot more flexibility with the rooftop racks than you do with the back of a pickup truck. So you can use any of your longer touring kayaks, the 18, 20, 22-foot kayaks. You can absolutely put those on a car. You just want to make sure that you have flagging on the kayak, just like you would with the back of a pickup truck. Mm-hmm. And then you might need to have extra straps. A longer kayak on top of a smaller car has a tendency to wiggle as you're driving, so you'll want to make sure that you have a few extra straps from the front and the back down to the frame of your car to try and keep it stable.
Okay.
So while I'm more familiar with loading and transporting my kayak in a pickup truck, I've noticed that you've got some interesting tools here that you're using to make transporting your kayak easier on your SUV. Could you describe those to us?
Sure. I found over the years just a couple of things to help me, load and unload both my kayak, canoe, some things to help me when I'm by myself and don't have someone to help take it off the top. And I've got a bike rack on the back that when you extend it up, it kind of makes for an easy balancing point for the kayak, and from there you can use the T-handle and use the rack to just kind of guide it back up and put it onto the top. The other thing that I have when I don't have the bike rack on the back is a pad that attaches with Velcro straps real easy to the rails on the top of the car, and it drapes over the back so it protects your paint. And that way you can slide the canoe, kayak, whatever you have, right on up there. They're real affordable, cheap options to just kind of help you out a little bit. All right, well, thank you so much for going over the tips today on unloading and loading of these kayaks and the different options that we have out there for how we can haul them around and get them on and off of our vehicles. We really do appreciate that.
Well, thank you so much for having me.